Welcome back to the Web3 Insights, where we bring you conversations with pioneers shaping the decentralized future. I'm your host, Aaron Hayhurst, and today I'm thrilled to be joined by Hannes Graah, who is the founder and builder of Zeal app. Zeal is transforming the way we think about self-custody and digital money, making crypto more accessible and usable in everyday life. From bridging traditional finance with decentralized finance to empowering users with practical tools for financial freedom, Hannes and his team are on a mission to make crypto simple and universal. Let's dive into Zeal's innovation and what lies ahead for open finance and the next generation of digital money. Hannes, thank you so much for coming on.
Thanks for having us, Aaron.
Absolute pleasure. Hannes, just wanted to start by a bit of background on yourself. Can you start by sharing a bit about your background, your experience, what led you to create Zeal, and what's the mission behind it?
So we're a group of builders who spent a long time at Revolut. So we're 8 people out. 7 of those have spent some time at Revolut,
Nice.
where we changed the front end of banking, if you will, moving away from high street offices to mobile app. And the opportunity after Revolut was to also reinvent the back end of banking, if you will, the underlying fundamentals of what a banking-like experience is for people. So that's what we have decided to take on, is to create an experience that's akin towards a neobank, both in terms of how it feels to use it, as well as the things you can do with it, what you can actually use the financial assets that you have in the product, but doing it in a decentralized way. So that's the opportunity and who we are and where we came from.
In what ways does Zeal make self-custody more approachable, turning it into a universal right rather than complex technical hurdle?
So everyone loves to complain about MetaMask in our industry. It's the pioneer in wallets, the one that's been around the longest, but it's also the one that's caused the most headaches for new people entering the space, trying to figure out how to work with seed phrases and how to set up transactions. And so what Zeal is a wallet that takes a lot of the recent innovations that has happened and that makes it easier to manage your private keys and your finances. Our smart wallet uses passkeys, which is a technology that's now being broadly rolled out in Web 2, not just in Web 3. And it's built on the safe smart contract infrastructure, originally from Gnosis and now its own DAO, which is a smart contract suite that custodies up to more than $100 billion worth of assets. So the most battle-tested and proven suite of smart contracts for managing assets. So we're combining really well-established technologies for securing assets in a way that's really, really easy. So when you create a smart wallet, you do it within a minute, really, with a touch of a finger or your face if you use Face ID. And no need to write down any passwords to see phrases.
A lot simpler for people. And obviously, you mentioned the ease of use there as well. But is there anything else that sort of sets Zeal apart from other wallet options? And also, how does it offer a different experience as well from what users might have encountered before?
So, in addition to being technically complex, generally other wallets, the other thing is that they've focused on token trading as the primary use case. So the original promise of the Bitcoin white paper 15 plus years ago was peer-to-peer digital cash. Mm-hmm. And yet today, 15 years later, it's still very hard to actually send someone digital cash. It's not something that even the 5 years of innovation is still hard to do it. And that's because most of the wallets have focused around trading as the key use case. With the ICO craze of 2017, that's the first real big use case that crypto found product market fit for, is to buy and sell tokens. And so that makes sense that wallets also focused around making the token trading experience the best possible. Yeah. But what we're doing at Zeal is to look at what do people use a neobank for? What do people use Revolut for? What do people use Monzo and 26 Cash App if you're in the US? Well, it's to do normal life stuff. It's to receive your salary. It's to pay a rent. It's to buy a beer or a coffee. It's to pay a friend. So all the normal financial use cases, but with the benefits that self-custody, removing intermediaries and middlemen can do.
For sure. So it allows for better everyday use for your average person, really.
Yeah, so practically what it means is that you have your tokens in a wallet, but you can now actually spend them at the point of sale in a coffee shop. So you don't have to think of the casino where you have your crypto tokens as chips, and then it's hard to take them out. Historically, when you wanted to take your money from your normal crypto wallet into the real world, you had to then go to an exchange. You had to off-ramp it or transfer it to a bank account, and then quite often the bank would reject the transfer because they're like, oh, here comes some dirty crypto money, and half of the time it would get rejected, and half of the time it works. So it was always a bit of like am I going to be able to take my money out of the casino or not? I don't know. It was definitely not your on-chain account was not an equal peer with your real world bank account. And so what we're doing at Zeal is to make your on-chain smart wallet account appear with your normal bank accounts. They should just be considered different places you have your assets in. So you can put some of your assets in a self-custodial account and some of them in a centrally custodied account, which is what the banks offer, but still be able to use them everywhere. It's just the fact that you have them in this account doesn't mean that you can't put them to use in your daily life.
Yeah, for sure. With streamlined on and off ramps and token-based card payments, how has addressing these friction points improved user trust and accelerated the adoption of crypto as a viable form of money?
So when people spend there, and if you look on Twitter, people spending on their Gnosis Pay card, which is the one that we work with, it's often quite like, I can't believe I just spent on-chain tokens in the real world. It's like almost 15 years of ingrained patterns and what's possible. So they know you can actually use them in the real world. And that changes the perception from trying to think of when is the right time to cash out to rather like you don't have to cash out. Like you have your money on chain and you can use it just like any other account. So it's very delightful experience when you do a user testing session with someone who's coming from crypto to the real world with their asset. And then the other direction, which is the one that we are even more excited about, to be honest, which is when you have people who are in the real world and are not crypto natives, degens, whatever you want to call it, why you give them a wallet where they can create a wallet within a minute and it works as a Revolut. They get a card, they get DeFi like yields. It's quite a surprise for them as well. I've enjoyed onboarding my friends and family who didn't quite understand until now, like, oh, this is what it's about, but they didn't know it could work actually like this. So that's also the bigger market. And depending how you count, we have a couple of million active humans that are frequent active users of it. But if you look in the real world, we have 9 billion people, and many of them have never touched crypto, but all of them have gotten food somehow. Most of them have bought food. So daily finance is a market order of magnitude larger.
Awesome stuff. Looking at open finance and the future of financial services, for those who may not know, open finance obviously represents the merging of traditional finance and decentralized finance. How do you foresee this space evolving, and what is Zeal specifically doing to ensure self-custody, user improvement, and practical application remain central to sort of its development as well?
So OpenFi or Open Finance is a theme that's growing and merging the two worlds, the DeFi world, which has been historically more on the casino side, and the real world, traditional finance world, and making them an integrated finance world. And so what that means is, again, accounts on chain should be considered peers with your off-chain accounts. They should not really be. You should be able to use them flexibly and move money back and forth in a very harmonized and gate-free way. What that causes as well is that the openness of DeFi creates a kind of hyper competitiveness in that protocols fight for liquidity, protocols, and anyone can build a protocol, anyone can launch a protocol and fight for its right to exist for offering an even better financial solutions. It's permission-free innovation, if you will. What OpenFi does is it takes that permission-free innovation and connects it with real-world finance. So we bring this competitiveness for better financial services to a much broader market, which ultimately will benefit people, the people who get access to better opportunities, get access to higher yields, higher returns on their money, because there's more competition and there are fewer custodians and middlemen in this world.
What's your sort of perspective on the current state of DeFi and OpenFi? How do you believe it will influence the next generation of financial services, and what sort of milestones will be key to that success as well?
Yeah, to be clear, I actually don't think that many says the whole world will be decentralized. I don't think it's an inevitable path that everything will become crypto. I think it's something that has to be made to happen by people, by actors, by builders. Generally the conveniences of custodied finance, that you're able to just swipe your phone, your Apple Watch, your card, whatever, and not have to deal with physical cash. It's so convenient. And so people have given up self-custody because of that convenience, but they haven't realized that they're giving up on self-custody. People don't realize that they're giving up control of their assets, even though historically humanity has self-custodied its value. That's how people have taken care of value historically for a very long time. You self-custody your value. But the convenience of centralized banking means people have just given up on it, but not realizing it's kind of like a soft rug pull that's happened to people. But it doesn't have to be that way if we build solutions that are as convenient but allow you to continue to self-custody. It doesn't have to be that way, but also if no one builds it and no one fights for it, then it won't happen.
Yeah.
We and many and several others have to make that future happen, where we give people the choice, we give people the alternatives so they can decide how much and what and how they want to manage their assets. But people should be left with the freedom to choose, because the freedom to control your asset, the freedom to transact, is a fundamental assumption that allows you to protect and to retain all your other freedoms.
Yeah, so your perspective on that then is we'll essentially live in a world in the future where traditional finance and decentralized finance coexist together.
Open finance,
Open
yeah,
finance.
exactly.
Awesome.
I don't think that everyone should not self-custody all of their assets. That doesn't make sense either. People should have a mix. People should decide what and how they want to, but they should be given the option. They should be given the choice.
Yeah. Yeah, no, absolutely. Completely agree. In terms of the specific milestones, what are there any specific milestones that you foresee that need to happen over, let's say, the next, I don't know, 2 years, 5 years, maybe even shorter, for that to, be a success?
Well, we are now at this inflection point where a lot of the enabling technologies exist and are now tried and proven in production. So I mentioned passkeys, biometric security, a secure enclave, hardware security, smart wallet infrastructure that's been battle tested, gas abstraction so people don't have to think about paying network fees for things. A lot of these fundamental building blocks are finally ready for production to enable us to build these great products on top of it. But that hasn't been around for very long. Bitcoin might be 15 years old, but many of the technologies that are enabling this are just now production ready. But that's more like table stakes, right? So we have all these technologies that allow us to set up wallets easily and make transactions easily, but those are just table stakes. People will not come to this space because security is easy, because it was easy already with Web 2, right? This is more like hygiene factors. So a lot of the hygiene stuff is now cleared, and now builders like Zeal and others can start to work on the real challenging problems of now delivering even more value, delivering better financial products, because all the table stakes, all the hygiene stuff is cleared out. And that's what I think is the next round of building good products, is building products that compel normal people who don't want to care about crypto, but just want to have access to strong value propositions.
Yeah, for sure.
So, and if you to look at Zeal now, right? So our lead value proposition right now, if you go to our homepage, is we empower you to cut out the middleman and earn more on your cash by getting cash back on your card payments, by getting yield on your deposits, even as you spend them. In traditional finance, you have a savings account and you have a current account, and for some reason, they're very separate things. And
Yeah,
cashback, depending on the jurisdiction, is also relatively sparse.
sure. Not sure where that thumbs up come from there on the screen. Did you see that as well?
Yeah, that's Apple innovation with filters when you do things, I think.
Nice. I was gonna say, oh, awesome. I was gonna say someone's obviously agreeing with you what you're saying there. Cool. Looking at user adoption and education, then, what sort of strategies does Zeal have in place to educate both beginners and experienced crypto users about the advantages of using digital assets for everyday spending?
So first off, the value propositions need to be strong and compelling, and need to be competitive with what people can get in Web 2. Self-custody in itself is a value proposition for some people, but for many not, right? It's for some it's a value proposition, for others it's a burden to take care of yourself. So self-custody is one thing, but then strong value propositions, which is actually quite interesting, because right now you have, if you want to stay on the conservative side of the risk spectrum, you can get safe yields in DeFi in the range of 10 to 15. If you go further at the risk spectrum and you go to exotic things, you can get a lot higher than that, but then you really need to be more technically savvy and feel confident in what you're doing. But those
Yeah.
numbers are already so much higher than what you can get in Web 2, right? So we have there are various reasons for that. The main source of yield that we're using inside Zeal is we're working with SDAI, with Aave, and with Lido to offer yield on several assets, which are battle-tested, large-scale, tried-and-true protocols that can offer this yield in a non-fugazi way. And people are rightfully scared when they see large numbers because we are all coming out of, most have probably recovered from their PTSD of the FTX and BlockFi, Celsius, etc. debacles, where what seemed to be relatively blue chip reliable platforms ended up being some of the most or least well-run platforms that also caused a lot of pain. And they were centralized solutions in crypto, right? They were not actually over-collateralized lending protocols. So if anything, that debacle showed the value of fully transparent over collateralized DeFi, which is what our products and are built on in Zeal. But if you talk to people outside of crypto, they don't necessarily see the difference between an FTX and an over-collateralized lending market, even though we who are in the space know very well there's an extreme difference between those two and the security profile of those.
Yeah, for
So
sure.
that's something that when we talk to people and explain, here's great yield, you then have to also do some level of education, but striking the right balance there. So to go back to your original question, how will we grow? First off is to offer to the people in crypto, the crypto natives, a product that allows them to use the crypto in new ways that they've never had before. And we're the only wallet that focuses on making an on-chain wallet for real life. So for crypto natives, this is the first wallet that lets you use your crypto in real life as a Revolut-like experience. And then for the people who are not yet in crypto, the people who are already using Zeal and loving Zeal, we can be ambassadors because we are a very easy wallet to get started within crypto, much easier than other wallets that make you think a lot about things like gas and some relatively complex concepts. So it's an easy starter wallet for people who are already in the space to bring in new people into the space, like an onboarding wallet, and show that hey, any money you make here, whether it's by investing in trading, yield farming, whatever, any money you make, you can just spend it on a card. It's like it's one place. It's not this. You don't have to buy any chips and then go to the casino, the slot machine. It's just tokens you use in the real world at the same time. So it's an easy wallet to get started and then very immediately see how you can continue to use the value of it for new people coming into the space.
Yeah, fantastic. That's great. I mean, I definitely think we need that in this space as well to bring more people into it for sure. How do you envision Zeal's evolution? What upcoming features or collaborations are expected to advance crypto as simple, accessible, and user-friendly digital money?
So the strongest use cases we have live right now are card payments and earn. So cards and earn. Those are clearly understandable as well by people whether they are in crypto or outside crypto. And the third one that we have available already, but we're going to make an even bigger deal out of, is investing. So you can already obviously buy and sell various tokens on multiple chains with optimal routing. So we give you the best possible exchange rate for it. But we're also now going to make a move into real world assets. So you'll be able to have one-stop shop where you can both buy, whether it's Bitcoin or ETH, but also S&P 500 ETFs. So you can do this mix of both on-chain and real world assets because again, we're a wallet, we're an on-chain wallet for real life. That means that you can both use on-chain assets in the real world, but you can also buy real world assets on-chain. So it's again, OpenFi, mixing and blending the two worlds. And that's something I'm very excited about because when people come into crypto from the outside, they might first think, oh yeah, this is a place where I buy Bitcoin or Dogecoin or whatever. But also, no, actually, it's a place where you can buy some assets that you're quite used to, whether it's tokenized Tesla stock or S&P 500 if you're a boglehead. So that's going to be quite cool. And then there's a lot of other general improvements in the very short term on making the product even smoother and faster, and snappier. But there's also larger features coming up.
Awesome. From a talent perspective, especially given my background and experience in recruitment, I'm keen to just get your opinion on the subject of developers making the transition from Web 2 into Web 3. From your perspective as a professional within this space, what do you think are the core attributes, or what do you look for when looking to build and scale your engineering team. Is there anything that Web2 developers can do from your perspective to enter this space and want to get involved?
Yeah. So there are basically two distinct pathways within crypto to get involved in. One, if you're a developer, one is to dive into developing smart contracts, which can be quite lucrative, competitive, but also well paid. But it's also a new art form that has its own complexities. So we have some people in the team that came from traditional tech and then started working on smart contracts.
Awesome.
And that's been a lot of relearning, unlearning and relearning. And many patterns that you are completely no-no patterns are here yes patterns. And then so that's one path that can be quite lucrative if you can find the right product to either build for yourself or work with someone else on. Although most organizations that are building have relatively tight-knit Solidity or Rust teams, then don't tend to be very large teams, unlike 2,000 engineers at Revolut. But if you don't want to take quite as large of a leap and learn a new stack, but rather stay within some TypeScript or something like that, then being a strong executor in Web 2 is definitely also indicative of being a strong executor in Web 3. So when we are looking at it now, admittedly we have 7 out of our 8 are former Revoluters. So we have a very clear pattern there in terms of the capabilities that we're looking for and how we are executing. But I would say start building and doing things there. This is a permission-free industry, right? So you can start building all parts of the stack. And if you're even building a new interface on top of someone else's product protocol, right? Start doing things and show that you're an executor. We're definitely biased towards action and getting shit done, as our alma maters, one of our mottos were, get it done. And so build things and show a bias towards speed and action and getting shit done.
Yeah, 100%. No, I think that's definitely key within this space, especially with how fast moving it is. I think that's, some really good advice there for sure. Awesome. I feel like we covered off some really good points there. So thank you so much, Hannes, for sharing the journey and, the exciting work that you're doing at Zeal. It's obviously clear to see that Zeal is making significant strides in bridging the gap between decentralized finance and everyday usability, obviously empowering users to take control of their financial futures. So thank you so much. For our listeners, to learn more about Zeal, do visit their website, which is zeal.app, and follow them on social media for updates on their latest features and initiatives. As always, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the Web3 Insights for more in-depth conversations with innovators driving the decentralized revolution. Thank you so much for tuning in. We will see you next time. Thanks again, Hannes.